guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be my September TBR. If you've been on my channel for a minute, you might be familiar with my book haul revisit series, but basically it was just where I went back a year ago from the current month and watched a previous book haul. And any of the books in that book haul that I hadn't read, I gave myself to the end of the month to either read them or unhaul them if I don't get to them. It basically accomplished what I set out to do, which is to actually read the books that I buy, and it was working, but I have decided to stop doing it because it just wasn't really making me happy. I have become more of a mood reader these days, and I found that I was forcing myself to read books that I just wasn't in the mood for. And so yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So we're just going to be bringing back monthly TBRs, and I'm just going to read whatever I feel like reading in the moment. So let me get into all the books that I really want to read in the month of September. So the first book on my list is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. I am currently reading this. I'm about 128 pages in, and I'm loving this so far. This is the third book in the Stormlight archive. I finished Words of Radiance at the very end of August, so I'm moving right along into this one, and I'm so excited. I am loving this series. You guys know that I love Brandon Sanderson's work, so I'm really excited to continue with this book, and it is the biggest one so far in the series. It's like over 1,200 pages, I believe. So yeah, this might take me quite a bit of time, but I'm so excited. I'm loving these books so much. The second book I have here is Grimm, and this is edited by Christine Johnson. This is a short story collection full of 17 stories that are like dark fairy tale retellings. A little bit ago I did a video on the oldest books on my TBR. This was one of them. So I'm trying to make sure that I put one of those books, at least one of those books, onto every TBR. And this is the one I chose for September. I'm kind of nervous to read this because of the time period. This is from a lot of YA authors that were popular during the time, and this was published back in 2014. So I'm a little nervous about that. Like, some of the stories might be a little dated. I don't know. I mean, 2014 wasn't that long ago, but it was still like a world away from where we are now as far as YA. But I mean, I've kept it this long, so I definitely should just read it already. So I think I'm just gonna read this throughout the month. Just read a story a day or so and see if I can get through this one this month. So next I'm going to be completing a duology, which will be exciting. I'm going to be rereading The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman, and then reading the sequel, which is The Deck of Omens. So I read this one last year, and there's so much that I forgot about it, but it takes place in this small little town in upstate New York, I believe, and there are 4 founding families of the town, and they all have like some kind of power. Basically their job is to hold captive this monster that is lurking in what is called the Grey. It's like this alternate dimension type thing. And the first book I love so much. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, but like I said, there's a lot that I forgot, so I want to reread this one before I pick up the second and final book, which is The Deck of Omens. And I'm really excited because I think that this is really gonna get me into the spooky mood. It is a very dark and atmospheric type book, at least the first one was, and I'm assuming the second one will be as well. So I'm really excited to read both of these this month. The next book I want to read in September is Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey. This is the third book in the Expanse series. I've really been loving this series. I actually started watching the TV show as well just last night, and I really love that as well. So I'm excited to get more into this and see how it goes. These books are all pretty big, but they go by super fast, and I think what I'm gonna do is listen to this on audiobook, because I listened to the audiobook for the second one and it was done really well. I really enjoyed the narration, so I think I'm gonna pick this one up on audiobook as well and give it a read. And I'm really excited to see where the story goes because it's just been so much fun. If you don't know, the Expanse series is an adult sci-fi space opera. It takes place in the 23rd century, I believe, and like we've colonized the solar system, so there's people living on Earth, Mars, the moon, and the outer planets as well on the asteroid belt, and there's a lot going on in here. But I love them, so I'm really excited to pick up the third one. Since we are getting close to the end of the year, I really want to finish some books that I have had ongoing for a while. The first one being Maya Angelou's complete poetry collection. These are all of her poems gathered into one book, and I started reading this in February, I think it was, and I only got like 48 pages in, but I was only like picking up and reading a few poems at a time, which is what I want to do throughout the month of September as well, and hopefully get through the whole thing. I really love Maya Angelou, so I don't know why I never picked it up again after February, but I want to finish some of those books that are on my currently reading list on Goodreads, because it's starting to annoy me. And then the next book is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha and Ian, and I talked about this recently. I don't remember which video it was, probably my series check-in, but I read 168 pages of this and never continued. I picked this up back in May, so I either need to make a decision on whether or not I want to DNF it or just try to finish it. And it's getting to the point now where I might have to restart it completely because I may have forgotten things. So I don't want to have to do that. I'm just going to try to pick it up from where I left off and see how it goes. But this is the second book to Girls of Paper and Fire, which I really enjoyed. I gave that book a 4 stars, but I was just having a lot of trouble with the world building in this and being able to visualize things and characters. And it just might have been that I wasn't in the mood for it at the time. So I'm going to try to pick it up this month, and if it doesn't work, I don't know, we might have to just give up on it. Continuing on with a series that I'm in the middle of, I want to read Shadow Black this month. This is by Sebastian de Castell. This is the second book in the Spellslinger series. I loved Spellslinger so much when I read it last year, and I don't know why I haven't gotten around to continuing the series after so much time, because all the books are out now. It's a 6-book series, and it's so much fun. This is a YA fantasy, and it follows our main character Kel, who is about to take his mage trials, which is sort of like this coming of age trial thing that they have in this world. And the problem is that he does not have any magic left, and he tries to like con his way into winning his trials until a woman comes along named Farius Parfax who shows him a new way, and it's just so good. At least the first one was, so I'm really excited to continue on with the second one. These are hilarious and fun and action-packed, and I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm really excited to pick this one up in September. And then I want to pick up Sight Witch by Susan Dennard, which is a really nice short one. So this is actually like a little novella in between the series, and I'm pretty sure that you read this one in between the second and third book. So I finished the second book in August, so I definitely want to pick this one up this month. Would like to get to Blood Witch as well, but I have so many other things on my TBR that I probably won't. So yeah, this is part of the Witchland series, if I didn't say that already. And because I'm reading a lot of fantasy and have been reading a lot of intense fantasy lately, I wanted to pick up a few contemporaries just to kind of balance things out, I guess. I don't know. The first one I have here is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I love Acevedo's works. I loved The Poet X and With the Fire on High, so I know that I'm gonna love this one. And it follows 2 sisters who don't know that they're sisters until their father dies in a plane crash, and they both discover each other, and they discover this life that they didn't realize their father had. So it sounds like it's going to be really good. Acevedo's work is writing is incredible, and this is told in verse, which I'm really excited about. So this should also be a nice quick read, so I'm excited to get to this one this month. And then the other contemporary I have is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This comes out sometime this month, and I'm really excited to have an art copy of it and give it a read. But in this one, we are following Enchanted Jones, who wakes up with blood on her hands and 0 memory of the previous night, and Corey Fields is dead. And Corey Fields is a legendary R&B artist. This sounds like it's going to be really good, and I really am excited to get to this one. And then I know this is getting ridiculous. I have a lot of books here, but I had that list of books that I made at the beginning of the year of 20 books to read in 2020. I still have quite a few of those books left, and not a lot of months left in the year, so I thought I better pick up one of those. So I decided to pick up Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I read one other book by her, which was Uprooted, and I loved it, which is why I picked up this book. And this is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, I believe, or a loose one at least. And I've been dying to read this since it came out and just never picked it up. So it's about time I pick it up. Naomi Novik is coming out with another book actually this month that I'm super excited to read, but I wanted to get to this one first, so I will definitely be reading this month and maybe even picking up her newest one, although I think it comes out later on in the month, so maybe not this month, but soon. So yeah, this is another one I'm going to be reading this month. And then we have The Toll by Neal Shusterman. I'm going to be buddy reading this one with Angela from Literature Science Alliance. We buddy read the second one, which was Thunderhead, and I loved it. This is the third book in the Arc of a Scythe trilogy by Neal Shusterman. I'm really excited and eager to see how this concludes because so much happened at the end of the second one that I'm dying to get into this one, so I can't wait to pick it up. Those are most of the books that I want to read, but then we also have a couple that are just like, if I have time, I might get to these. If not, we can push them to the next month, but I would like to include them in this TBR anyway. And that the first one being The Black Kids, and this is by Christina Hammonds Reed. I just got this one, so I'm really eager to read it because it does come out this month, I think. Also, I would like to finish this duology. This is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. This is the second book in the Monsters of Verity duology, and the first one I really enjoyed. I fell for these characters so hard, and I'm dying to know how their story wraps up. So I have the second book here. I wanted to get to this in August, but I didn't get a chance to. So I would really like to read it this month if I have time, but there's so many books that I want to read this month. And then I pre-ordered When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, which comes out today on the 1st if you're watching this on Tuesday. And I really want to read that. Alyssa Cole is primarily a romance author, and I've read a lot of her romances and really enjoyed them. So I'm really excited to get a thriller from her. As soon as this shows up, I might just like put everything else on hold and read it because I'm that excited. So that might be something that I read this month. We'll see. So that is a total of 16 books that I decided to put on my TBR for the month. Will I get through all of them? Probably not, but that is okay. I don't need to. I'm putting zero pressure on myself this month to get through any of these books. If I get through half of them, fine. If I get through 2 of them, fine. Like, I just want a really chill and relaxed month, which is why I decided not to participate in any readathons, even though there's a lot of good ones going on this month. But yeah, those are all the books that I plan to read in the month of September. Do let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or opinions on the books that I showed you today. Let me know what you're planning to read in September, and if you're planning to read any of the books I'm reading, let me know. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!